Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Beyoncé. Infobox person, name, image Beyoncé. The Formation World Tour, at Wembley Stadium in London, England. JPG, ALF picture of Beyoncé, caption Beyoncé performing at Wembley Stadium, London during the Formation World Tour, 2016, birth_name Beyoncé Giselle Knowles, birth_date, birth date vertical bar 1981 vertical bar 9 vertical bar 4, birth_place Houston, Texas, U.S. Residence, no rap vertical bar Los Angeles, California, U.S. Other _names Beyoncé Knowles Carter. Occupation, flat list vertical bar years _active 1997 present, net _worth $500 million, spouse, marriage vertical bar JZ vertical bar April 4, 2008 children 3, parents, plain list vertical bar relatives, plain list vertical bar module, Infobox musical artist, embed yes, background solo _singer, genre, flat list vertical bar instrument vocals, label, flat list vertical bar associated _acts, flat list vertical bar website, URL vertical bar Beyonce.com. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles Carter is an American singer, songwriter, dancer, and actress. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, Beyoncé performed in various singing and dancing competitions as a child. She rose to fame in the late 1990s as lead singer of the R&B girl group Destiny's Child, managed by her father, Matthew Knowles. The group became one of the world's best-selling girl groups in history. Their hiatus saw Beyoncé's theatrical film debut in Austin Powers and Goldmember and the release of her debut album, Dangerously in Love. The album established her as a solo artist worldwide, earned 5 Grammy Awards, and featured the Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles, Crazy in Love, and Baby Boy. Following the breakup of Destiny's Child in 2006, she released her second solo album, B-Day, which contained the top 10 singles, Deja Vu, Irreplaceable, and Beautiful Liar. Beyoncé also continued her acting career, with starring roles in The Pink Panther, Dreamgirls, and Obsessed. Her marriage to rapper Jay-Z, and portrayal of Etta James in Cadillac Records influenced her third album, I Am Sasha Fierce, which saw the introduction of her alter ego Sasha Fierce and earned a record-setting 6 Grammy Awards in 2010, including Song of the Year for Single Ladies. Beyoncé took a hiatus from music in 2010 and took over management of her career. Her fourth album, 4, was subsequently mellower in tone, exploring 1970s funk, 1980s pop, and 1990s soul. Her critically acclaimed fifth album, Beyoncé, was distinguished from previous releases by its experimental production and exploration of darker themes. Her sixth album, Lemonade, also received widespread critical acclaim, and subsequently became the best-selling album of 2016. Throughout her career, Beyoncé has sold an estimated 100 million records as a solo artist, and a further 60 million records with the group Destiny's Child, making her one of the best-selling music artists in history. She has won 22 Grammy Awards and is the most nominated woman in the awards history. She is also the most awarded artist at the MTV Video Music Awards, with 24 wins. The Recording Industry Association of America recognized Beyoncé as the top certified artist in America during the 2000s. In 2009, Billboard named her the top radio songs artist of the decade, the top female artist of the 2000s, and awarded her their Millennium Award in 2011. Refine vertical bar. In 2014, she became the highest-paid black musician in history, and was listed among Time's 100 most influential people in the world for a second year in a row. Forbes ranked her as the most powerful female in entertainment on their 2015 and 2017 lists, and in 2016 she occupied the 6th place for Time's Person of the Year. Early life. Beyoncé Giselle Knowles was born in Houston, Texas, to Celestine Tina Knowles, a hairdresser and salon owner, and Matthew Knowles, a Xerox sales manager. Beyoncé's name is a tribute to her mother's maiden name. Beyoncé's younger sister Solange is also a singer, and a former backup dancer for Destiny's Child. Solange and Beyoncé are the first sisters to have both had #1 albums. Matthew is African American, while Tina is of Louisiana Creole descent. Through her mother, Beyoncé is a descendant of Arcadian leader Joseph Broussard. Beyoncé attended St. Mary's Montessori School in Houston, where she enrolled in dance classes. Her singing talent was discovered when dance instructor Darlette Johnson began humming a song, and she finished it, able to hit the high-pitched notes. Beyoncé's interest in music and performing continued after winning a school talent show. At age 7, singing John Lennon's Imagine, to beat 15-16-year-olds. In fall of 1990, Beyoncé enrolled in Parker Elementary School, a music magnet school in Houston, where she would perform with the school's choir. She also attended the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts and later Ailey Felsick High School. Beyoncé was also a member of the choir at St. John's United Methodist Church as a soloist for 2 years. When Beyoncé was 8, she and childhood friend Kelly Rowland met LaTavia Robertson while in an audition for an all-girl entertainment group. They were placed into a group called Girls Time with 3 other girls, and rapped and danced on the talent show circuit in Houston. After seeing the group, R&B producer Arn Frager brought them to his Northern California studio and placed them in Star Search, the largest talent show on national TV at the time. Girls Time failed to win, and Beyoncé later said the song they performed was not good. In 1995, Beyoncé's father resigned from his job to manage the group. The move reduced Beyoncé's family's income by half, and her parents were forced to move into separated apartments. Matthew cut the original lineup to 4 and the group continued performing as an opening act for other established R&B girl groups. The girls auditioned before record labels and were finally signed to Elektra Records, moving to Atlanta Records briefly to work on their first recording, only to be cut by the company. This put further strain on the family, and Beyoncé's parents separated. On October 5, 1995, Dwayne Wiggins Grassroots Entertainment signed the group. In 1996, the girls began recording their debut album under an agreement with Sony Music. The Knowles family reunited, and shortly after, the group got a contract with Columbia Records. 1997-2002, Destiny's Child. Main article vertical bar Destiny's Child. The group changed their name to Destiny's Child in 1996, based upon a passage in the Book of Isaiah. In 1997, Destiny's Child released their major label debut song, Killing Time, on the soundtrack to the 1997 film, Men in Black. The following year, the group released their self-titled debut album, scoring their first major hit, No, No, No. The album established the group as a viable act in the music industry, with moderate sales, and winning the group 3 Soul Train Lady of Soul Awards for Best R&B/Soul Album of the Year, Best R&B/Soul or Rap New Artist, and Best R&B/Soul Single for No, No, No. The group released their multi-platinum second album The Writings on the Wall in 1999. The record features some of the group's most widely known songs such as Bills, 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 the group's first #1 single, Jumpin' Jumpin', and Say My Name, which became their most successful song at the time, and would remain one of their signature songs. Say My Name won the Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals and the Best R&B Song at the 43rd Annual Grammy Awards. The Writings on the Wall sold more than 8 million copies worldwide. During this time, Beyoncé recorded a duet with Mark Nelson, an original member of Boyz II Men, on the song, After All Is Said and Done, for the soundtrack to the 1999 film, The Best Man. LaToya Luckett and Robertson became unhappy with Matthew's managing of the band and eventually were replaced by Farrah Franklin and Michelle Williams. Beyoncé experienced depression following the split with Luckett and Robertson after being publicly blamed by the media, critics, and blogs for its cause. Her long-standing boyfriend left her at this time. The depression was so severe it lasted for a couple of years, during which she occasionally kept herself in her bedroom for days and refused to eat anything. Beyoncé stated that she struggled to speak about her depression because Destiny's Child had just won their first Grammy Award, and she feared no one would take her seriously. Beyoncé would later speak of her mother as the person who helped her fight it. Franklin was then dismissed, leaving just Beyoncé, Rowland, and Williams. The remaining band members recorded Independent Women Part 1, which appeared on the soundtrack to the 2000 film Charlie's Angels. It became their best-charting single, topping the US Billboard Hot 100 chart for 11 consecutive weeks. In early 2001, while Destiny's Child was completing their third album, Beyoncé landed a major role in the MTV made-for-television film, Carmen, a hip opera, starring alongside American actor Mekhi Phifer. Set in Philadelphia, the film is a modern interpretation of the 19th-century opera Carmen by French composer Georges Bizet. When the third album Survivor was released in May 2001, Luckett and Robertson filed a lawsuit claiming that the songs were aimed at them. The album debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200, with first-week sales of 663,000 copies sold. The album spawned other number 1 hits, Bootylicious, and the title track, Survivor, the latter of which earned the group a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals. After releasing their holiday album 8 Days of Christmas in October 2001, the group announced a hiatus to further pursue solo careers. In July 2002, Beyoncé continued her acting career playing Foxy Cleopatra alongside Mike Myers in the comedy film Austin Powers and Goldmember, which spent its first weekend atop the US box office and grossed $73 million. Beyoncé released Work It Out as the lead single from its soundtrack album, which entered the top 10 in the UK, Norway, and Belgium. In 2003, Beyoncé starred opposite Cuba Gooding Jr. in the musical comedy The Fighting Temptations as Lily, a single mother with whom Gooding's character falls in love. The film received mixed reviews from critics, but grossed $30 million in the US. Beyoncé released Fighting Temptation as the lead single from the film's soundtrack album, with Missy Elliott, MC Lyte, and Free, which was also used to promote the film. Another of Beyoncé's contributions to the soundtrack, Summertime, fared better on the US charts. 2003, 2007, Dangerously in Love and B-Day. Beyoncé's first solo recording was a feature on Jay-Z's '03 Bonnie and Clyde, that was released in October 2002, peaking at number 4 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. Her first solo album Dangerously in Love was released on June 24, 2003, after Michelle Williams and Kelly Rowland had released their solo efforts. The album sold 317,000 copies in its first week, debuted atop the Billboard 200, and has since sold 11 million copies worldwide. The album's lead single, Crazy in Love, featuring Jay-Z, became Beyoncé's first number 1 single as a solo artist in the US. The single, Baby Boy, also reached number 1, and singles, Me, Myself, and I, and Naughty Girl, both reached the top 5. The album earned Beyoncé a then record-tying 5 awards at the 46th Annual Grammy Awards: Best Contemporary R&B Album, Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for Dangerously in Love 2, Best R&B Song, and Best Rap/Sung Collaboration for Crazy in Love, and Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals for The Closer I Get to You, with Luther Vandross. In November 2003, she embarked on the Dangerously in Love tour in Europe and later toured alongside Missy Elliott and Alicia Keys for the Verizon Ladies First tour in North America. On February 1, 2004, Beyoncé performed the American national anthem at Super Bowl 38 at the Reliance Stadium in Houston, Texas. After the release of Dangerously in Love, Beyoncé had planned to produce a follow-up album using several of the leftover tracks. However, this was put on hold so she could concentrate on recording Destiny Fulfilled, the final studio albums by Destiny's Child. Released on November 15, 2004, in the US and peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200, Destiny Fulfilled included the singles, Lose My Breath, and Soldier, which reached the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Destiny's Child embarked on a worldwide concert tour, Destiny Fulfilled and Loving It, and during the last stop of their European tour, in Barcelona on June 11, 2005, Rowland announced that Destiny's Child would disband following the North American leg of the tour. The group released their first compilation album Number Ones on October 25, 2005, in the US, and accepted a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in March 2006. Beyoncé's second solo album B-Day was released on September 4, 2006, in the US, to coincide with her 25th birthday. It sold 541,000 copies in its first week and debuted atop the Billboard 200, becoming Beyoncé's second consecutive #1 album in the United States. The album's lead single, Deja Vu, featuring Jay-Z, reached the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The second international single, Irreplaceable, was a commercial success worldwide, reaching #1 in Australia, Hungary, Ireland, New Zealand and the United States. B-Day also produced 3 other singles: Ring the Alarm, Get Me Bodied, and Green Light. Her first acting role of 2006 was in the comedy film The Pink Panther starring opposite Steve Martin, grossing $158.8 million at the box office worldwide. Her second film Dreamgirls, the film version of the 1981 Broadway musical loosely based on The Supremes, received acclaim from critics and grossed $154 million internationally. In it, she starred opposite Jennifer Hudson, Jamie Foxx, and Eddie Murphy playing a pop singer based on Diana Ross. To promote the film, Beyoncé released Listen as the lead single from the soundtrack album. In April 2007, Beyoncé embarked on the Beyoncé Experience, her first worldwide concert tour, visiting 97 venues and grossed over $24 million. Ref on Vertical Bar. The gross takings from the 29 shows which were reported to Billboard box score total $24.9 million. The tour comprised 96 concerts. Vertical Bar Group note: Beyoncé conducted pre-concert food donation drives during 6 major stops in conjunction with her pastor at St. John's and America's Second Harvest. At the same time, B-Day was re-released, with 5 additional songs, including her duet with Shakira, Beautiful Liar, Clear, 2008, 2010, I Am, Sasha Fierce and Films. On April 4, 2008, Beyoncé married Jay-Z. She publicly revealed their marriage in a video montage at the listening party for her third studio album, I Am, Sasha Fierce, in Manhattan's Sony Club on October 22, 2008. I Am, Sasha Fierce was released on November 18, 2008, in the United States. The album formally introduces Beyoncé's alter ego Sasha Fierce, conceived during the making of her 2003 single, Crazy in Love. It was met with generally mediocre reviews from critics, but sold 482,000 copies in its first week, debuting atop the Billboard 200, and giving Beyoncé her third consecutive #1 album in the US. The album featured the #1 song, Single Ladies, and the top 5 songs, If I Were a Boy, and Halo, achieving the accomplishment of becoming her longest-running Hot 100 single in her career. Halo's success in the US helped Beyoncé attain more top 10 singles on the list than any other woman during the 2000s. It also included the successful Sweet Dreams, and singles Diva, Ego, Broken Hearted Girl, and Videophone. The music video for Single Ladies has been parodied and imitated around the world, spawning the first major dance craze of the internet age according to the Toronto Star. The video has won several awards, including Best Video at the 2009 MTV Europe Music Awards, the 2009 Scottish MOBO Awards, and the 2009 BET Awards. At the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards, the video was nominated for 9 awards, ultimately winning 3 including Video of the Year. Its failure to win the Best Female Video category, which went to American country pop singer Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me, led to Kanye West interrupting the ceremony, and Beyoncé improvising a representation of Swift's award during her own acceptance speech. In March 2009, Beyoncé embarked on the I Am World Tour, her second headlining worldwide concert tour, consisting of 108 shows, grossing $119.5 million. Beyoncé further expanded her acting career, starring as blues singer Etta James in the 2008 musical biopic Cadillac Records. Her performance in the film received praise from critics, and she garnered several nominations for her portrayal of James. including a Satellite Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, and a NAACP Image Award nomination for Outstanding Supporting Actress. Beyoncé donated her entire salary from the film to Phoenix House, an organization of rehabilitation centers for heroin addicts around the country. On January 20, 2009, Beyoncé performed James's At First couple Barack and Michelle Obama's first inaugural ball. Beyoncé starred opposite Ali Larter and Idris Elba in the thriller, Obsessed. She played Sharon Charles, a mother and wife whose family is threatened by her husband's stalker. Although the film received negative reviews from critics, the movie did well at the U.S. box office, grossing $68 million, $60 million more than Cadillac Records, on a budget of $20 million. The fight scene finale between Sharon and the character played by Ali Larter also won the 2010 MTV Movie Award for Best Fight. At the 52nd Annual Grammy Awards, Beyoncé received 10 nominations, including Album of the Year for I Am, Sasha Fierce, Record of the Year for Halo, and Song of the Year for Single Ladies, among others. She tied with Lauryn Hill for most Grammy nominations in a single year by a female artist. Beyoncé went on to win 6 of those nominations, breaking a record she previously tied in 2004 for the most Grammy Awards won in a single night by a female artist, with 6. In 2010, Beyoncé was featured on Lady Gaga's single, Telephone, and appeared in its music video. The song topped the US Pop Songs chart, becoming the 6th number 1 for both Beyoncé and Gaga, tying them with Mariah Carey for most number 1s since the Nielsen Top 40 Airplay chart launched in 1992. Telephone received a Grammy Award nomination for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. Beyoncé announced a hiatus from her music career in January 2010, heeding her mother's advice to live life, to be inspired by things again. During the break, she and her father parted ways as business partners. Beyoncé's musical break lasted 9 months and saw her visit multiple European cities, the Great Wall of China, the Egyptian pyramids, Australia, English music festivals and various museums and ballet performances. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?